What's up, guys? It's Ruben here. When my microphone died last Sunday during the recording of the latest devlog, I didn't think too much of it, but it appears it has been a bad omen because Unity has decided to announce a major change in their pricing model 2 days ago, and it is a very dramatic topic. And I want to explain to you why it hits close to home with me. It's probably due to bad news being the only thing in the media that makes at least me think that the world is slowly getting worse. It probably isn't, but it certainly looks like it sometimes. And in this world, there are still a few things that give you joy, right? And for me, one of these things, or one of the major things, has always been video games. They brought me joy. They helped me dealing with anxiety, sadness, They helped me through hard times. And they also have been there in the best of times, playing with friends or playing alone just to wind down after a long day of work. Video games have a very special place in my heart. And Unity, in my mind, has always been one of the big enablers for a lot of great games to even exist. And that is also the reason why I went with it and why I've invested time in learning to develop with Unity, getting to know the tools. And I always found that it is amazing. It's amazing to work with. It's a great community that has so many helpful threads and people who help you with issues. Then of course the marketplace is great. Like so many things you can either have for free or for a little amount of money that can help you, prototype your game, your idea, share your idea with players, give them joy. The gaming space always was close to me, and I love that we have games. And that is also one of the big reasons why I wanted to make one my own, right? I wanted to be in this space, even though it is competitive. It requires a lot of work, a lot of willpower to get through all the struggles. And now, 2 days ago, Unity has decided to spit in the face of their customer base, which are the game developers. I'm not going too much into detail, but basically what they did is they switched from a just subscription based model to a new pricing model, which in my opinion is just unethical. They have no right to do that, and they are killing their own community with this. I don't know the reasons behind it, and usually I'm very curious to understand motivations behind an obviously bad decision. But this is one of the rare cases where I do not want to understand, because most likely the motivation is just greed. And greed has poisoned many great things, including Unity now. And with that, it impacts a lot of indie game developers, small game studios, and even big ones, I assume, because Unity is essential to many games that are out there or that are in development. Basically, what they did was if your game is successful, which is a big win for any developer, I don't even want to pose as I would understand the struggles because I've just begun my journey. But I can only imagine what it feels like that if you have put your blood, sweat, and tears into a project, money, time, a lot of your emotions, a lot of your creativity went into a project. And now Unity comes and says, okay, but if you make money, which is already cut a lot from what I've learned and heard. So game studios already have trouble staying afloat sometimes. It's a very competitive space and there are a lot of cuts from publishers, from the platforms that offer your games to the players in the end. So that's how you get your games out there. And from that cut, Unity said, yeah, I want a piece of that cake, that sweet, sweet money cake. So they changed their pricing model that if you reach a certain threshold of users and money made in gross revenue, mind you, It's not after taxes, not after employees being paid. It's just what your game made. They want to take an amount per installation. It's not per sale, it's per installation. So this also leaves a lot of room for abuses, which apparently Unity does not care about. They say, yeah, you can report that to our fraud team or something like that. As said, I don't want to go too much into details, but the gist of the thing is Unity is also not very transparent with it, and the whole community is crumbling. Apparently, I did not know that. Apparently, they have been doing things like that, like negative updates or things that hurt the community and their customer base throughout the last few years. I did not know any of that, to be honest, but I got to learn it in correlation with the newest revelation, which is really the biggest one yet. And that also got me thinking, most likely Galantes would not be impacted because the minimum amount we would have to reach would be 200k revenue within a year and 200,000 installations in Galantes' lifetime, which, if you didn't know, is like 1 in a million games can actually achieve that. Indie games, mind you. So the chance of that being an actual problem to Galantes is rather small. However, what could directly impact Galantes is the crumbling community, and that for the prototype at least, for the demo, the market, the Unity asset store, where we would have to buy a lot of, assets to create at least a demo version, a working demo, is probably going to be smaller than now, and I've already explored it extensively, and a lot of things are missing still. So it actually impacts the viability of me being able to create a demo version for you guys of this project. And the second point is, even though Unity won't be impacted by us or me pulling the plug on this project in Unity, doesn't make a difference to them. But for me, like, I have an ethical problem with what Unity is trying to do. Not sure if they go through with it, but it just shows that the company, or at least the executives running the company, are not trustworthy at all. And you don't know what's next around the corner, what's the next decision they're going to make. And since the Galantes project is still pretty young, so, it's only been running for a few months now, and there's not a lot of money that went into it, just a lot of time. I decided that I will pause the game, the development of the game, indefinitely. And I will use that time to switch over to a new game engine, which is called Godot. It is a open source game engine. So in Godot, there's no greedy corporation behind it, no shareholders. It is really just people who are passionate about gaming. So I'm gonna switch over there, which basically puts my knowledge almost to zero. And my plan is to create 3 to 5 really small games, but from start to finish. Because that was one of the doubts after I started the project. Will I be able to see it through? From, designing one, getting the idea, and maybe even doing the first few steps is probably easy, but actually starting it and finishing it and also distributing it at the end, it's a whole different story. So I want to use this time to get to know Godot, how to work with it, how to make full games with it. I'll start by doing a few small projects from start to finish. I try to set them in the Galantes universe, so from the lore that I came up with, but maybe the first few not, just just gonna be real small prototypes. Yeah, by the end of it, when I feel like I know enough and I feel able to see the project through, I will come back to it and pick it up and see if it's still what I imagine, if it's still what I want to do, and or if I want to do it in the same shape and form, or if it's gonna be something different. Like as of now, I want to see it through as I imagined it, as I described it on the webpage, as I've been describing it to you guys in these videos. It is still what I have in mind, and it is still something I want to do. Yeah, it saddens me to say this, and some of you might not understand the decision, and that's all right with me. It's really just an ethical standpoint that I do not want to use Unity's tools anymore, uh, because they hurt a space and a community of people that I hold in high regards, because they and their work, their creations, their creativity has helped me a lot in life to have a better life. And if that is attacked, I feel personally attacked by that as well. I don't understand it. I can simply not understand these decisions. And even if they are rolled back, I do not have trust in this company. I do not want to be associated with that company. And I also feel bad for their employees. They have probably a great workforce, passionate people who wanted to just create something great and have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears themselves into it to enable game developers to make their own creations. And it could be such a wonderful space, and greed has fucked it all up. One example I want to highlight that underlines that statement is that these per installation prices, which I've heard, are not applicable to filming and movie stuff that is getting made with Unity. Fine. And the second exemption is everything gambling related. So if that doesn't tell you enough about how unethical this whole thing is, well, that for me that puts the last nail into the coffin. Um, so yeah, the next plan is find a new game engine, which I mentioned is most likely Godot. Get proficient with it, get experience, and once I feel confident, I will be back. I will be back with the Galantes project in whatever shape or form it will be. And until then, I will just create small games, and I will probably use the Discord and the YouTube channel from Galantes to inform you about the progress of these projects, not as regular as the devlogs that I did now. And for those of you who are not interested in that, I thank you very much for following this journey for as long as it lasted, which was not very long, luckily now, I have to say. And for those of you who are interested, please stay subscribed or subscribe for future videos. And yeah, what's left to say is that I thank you a lot for the support I got. It was really great. And my thoughts go out to all the projects that are heavily impacted by this change of one company. And I wish them all the best, because games are here to help us pass the time, to make us feel happy, to experience joy with friends who may be not close by, or just to have fun in general. Like it's such a great space. The idea of games has been around forever, and the new media has allowed us to get completely new experiences beyond imagination. Like if you think back 50 years, wouldn't have been possible to see games like Elden Ring or something similar. And we've come a great way that we are actually able to experience this, and we should hold it in high regards. And we should hold the people who create this in high regards, because no matter how small a game seems to you, there's a lot of effort going into it. game development is so much more than just writing code. You have to be a multi-tool yourself to be able to pull off creating a game yourself. And that became even more clear when I started this whole project, like how much it really is. So yeah, my thoughts go out to all those who are actually impacted by this or heavily impacted. And I wish them all the best. And once again, to you who has been supporting or viewing this journey, I want to thank you very much for your time. And I hope to see you back once I feel confident to continue this journey. And yeah, with all that being said, um, thanks a lot. And I wish you all the best and have a great day. Ruben out.